This happened to a girl I went to middle school with. She's thankfully moved away from our town, and all that creepy stuff is behind her now. But this is one scary story you guys are really gonna love. It was around midnight, and she was just going to bed when she heard a knock on her window. At first, she thought nothing of it. It was probably just some stupid drunk guy trying to get in her window, because he was too lazy to use the door. But then it happened again. Knock, knock, knock. She turned off her lights and pretended to be asleep, but then the knocking got louder. Annoyed, she got out of bed and went to her window. As she looked outside, she saw that it was just some kids messing around. She yelled at them to go away, but they just kept on knocking and making stupid faces at her. Finally, they ran off and she went back to bed. But then the nightmares began. Every single night at exactly 12:34 a.m., she would hear a knock on the window. She would look outside and there was never anyone there. This went on for weeks, and she was getting really scared. Her parents told her to just ignore it and it'll probably stop, but it never did. She tried everything. She'll put up Christmas lights around her window so that it would be too bright for anyone to see, and she even bought one of those big inflatable Halloween pumpkins to sit on her windowsill. But every night at 12:34, she would hear the knock, and there would be no one there. Then one night, she was getting ready for bed when she saw a message pop up on her Facebook Messenger. It was from an account she didn't know. The account had no profile picture and the name was just 1,234,567,890. The message simply said, "I'm outside your window." She immediately told her mom and they decided to just leave the computer and go to sleep. But then the messages started coming in faster. She would get a new message every minute. They were all the same. Each message was just saying how it was right outside her window, how it could see inside her house, how it knew what room she was in. The messages made it clear that whoever was on the other side of the window was watching her. Her parents called the police, but they said there was nothing they could do unless someone had actually broken into the house or had actually seen the person. She was terrified, but her mom said that the best thing to do was to just pretend that it wasn't happening. But that night was the scariest of all. The messages came in non-stop all night long. She would run out of her room and look around the house, but her mom would just tell her to go back to bed. Then at 7 a.m., the messages stopped. She didn't hear a single message after 7 a.m. that day. She felt like whoever it was outside her window had finally left her alone. She went to school and tried to tell her friends, but they just laughed at her. They told her that she should just block the account and get over it. So she did. She blocked the account and she didn't think about it anymore. She figured it was just some random creep who had gotten the wrong account. But then 2 weeks later, the messages started again. They started coming in as soon as she woke up. She tried to call her mom, but the messages kept coming in faster and faster. And then one message stood out from the rest. It said, "You can't run." She screamed and dropped her phone. She tried to call her mom again, but it was too late. The last message she got was, "It's too late. I'm inside your house." She started to cry, but no one could hear her. All of her messages had disappeared. She ran to her mom's room and hid under her bed. She stayed there all day, too scared to leave. That night, her mom slept in her bed with her and locked the door. But in the middle of the night, they both heard a knock. They both froze. Then they heard it again. Someone was knocking on the window. This happened to a guy I know. He didn't tell me his name, but he did tell me that he lives in Dallas and works at a local coffee shop. He also told me that he's a pretty private person, doesn't really have many friends, and keeps to himself most of the time. He's also pretty overweight and has very low self. One day, while scrolling through Facebook, he saw an old video of him that one of his so-called friends had uploaded without his permission. It was a video of him eating at the coffee shop where he worked. The video got a lot of views and a lot of nasty comments, which made him feel humiliated and angry. So he decided to change his profile picture to a video of a monkey holding a banana in front of his face. He thought it was funny and didn't think much of it. But then, at 3 a.m., he started getting these random friend requests from people he didn't know. And when he looked at their profile pictures, they were all the same. It was the video of him holding the banana, confused and creeped out. He ignored them and went back to sleep. He started getting these messages every single night at 3 a.m. They would say things like, "I love your videos. You're such a good actor. And keep up the great work." But the messages weren't coming from any of his Facebook friends. They were all coming from these random accounts with profile pictures of him. It got to the point where he couldn't sleep, because every night at 3 a.m. he would get these messages and he would see these notifications saying that someone had watched his videos and that they liked it. He even started getting comments on his videos from these accounts saying things like, "I can't wait to see what you do next, and you're really talented. Keep it up." At first, he thought maybe it was some kind of joke that he just didn't understand. Maybe some of his friends had made these accounts and were trying to mess with him. But he knew that was on the case, because he would get messages from these accounts during the day. Messages like, "You should make a video of yourself brushing your teeth, and I want to see you dance in front of your refrigerator." That's when he came to the horrifying realization that these messages weren't a joke. These people actually believed that he was making these videos on purpose. They actually believed that he was an actor. He tried to explain this to me, but he was crying so hard that I couldn't understand what he was saying. He said he blocked all these accounts, but then he started getting messages from new accounts that were using the same videos for their profile pictures. He said it was like an endless parade of monkeys with bananas. He told me that he couldn't take it anymore. He was so tired of being judged and ridiculed by his friends and coworkers. He felt like everyone was laughing at him, and he just wanted it to end. Then one day he got a message from one of these accounts. It said, "Why don't you come over to my house? I'll show you how to make a real video." He said he was scared, really scared. He didn't know what to do. Should he go to the police? Would they even believe him? Would they think that it was just some kind of stupid prank? I told him to go to the police, and I even offered to go with him. But he didn't want to. He was too scared. Then he started getting more messages from more accounts telling him to come over and be in their videos. Some of them even offered to pay him money. And that's when he snapped. He went to the coffee shop where he worked, climbed up on top of the counter and started screaming at everyone that they were all a part of it, that they were all a part of this sick, twisted game. They called the police and he was arrested for trespassing. The last thing he said to me was, "They're everywhere. Man, they're everywhere." Then he disappeared. I haven't seen him since. I don't know what happened to him, but every night at 3 a.m., I get those messages too. I don't know why, but I get those messages and I wish it would stop. I wish I could go back to sleep. If you enjoyed this creepypasta, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to hear more. Also, check out the long-form stories on my podcast channel. There are links in the description. Thanks for listening.